From the AP, NYC Mayoral candidate is arrested at immigration court after linking arms with man being detained. What a stunt.
These theater kids.
Here you go, check this out.
Have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens.
You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. I'm pretty sure they do.
The way you know that this is a photo op is because all of the reporters that are surrounding these guys in the background taking photos, all of those people were tipped off by this guy's campaign, Brad Lander.
Yep.
He's running third in the New York City mayoral race, and that's why he's doing this stunt. He has no chance of actually winning. Moreover, this is going to be the new Democratic photo op opportunity thing. Raz Baraka of New Jersey got arrested outside of a detention center. This is the new way to virtue signal. Obstructing ICE agents from doing their jobs outside of different immigration courts. Is what
this is in New York or in New Jersey?
This is in New York.
This is in New York. Okay.
Apparently, this guy was also seen aiding illegal immigrants helping them to avoid ICE at the courthouse before he got arrested.
And that's what that judge was doing, who got stripped and arrested.
So this guy should go to jail.
I'll just further explain kind of what's going on here. In New York City, within the immigration courts, ICE agents are now hanging out outside of the immigration courts, immediately outside of the doors.
I voted for this.
To arrest illegal aliens and detain them. Some of these ICE agents are masked up without any badges or name tags out, and I guess that's been some people's beef. Others don't. So others are masked, some are, some aren't. And I guess that's been some of these guys' primary complaint. I've been covering this stuff in New York for the past couple of weeks. It's been adult men that they are detaining. I've seen multiple women with their children be allowed to let go despite definitely being illegal aliens. Funny tidbit too, Tim, I actually spoke to a couple of ICE agents there who do watch the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I voted for this.
Keep up the good work. Keep sending them back.
This is
Speaking of DHS, Nikki Haley, Secretary Haley. Oh, excuse me, gosh, I'm tweeting about
Kristi
Nikki Haley right now. Kristi Noem, gosh.
Allergic reaction.
One in the jar for that one, yeah. So Kristi Noem, I was just tweeting that Nikki Haley is probably loving all this. Don't
say her name a third time. You'll summon her.
I will. Kristi Noem, she's rushed to the hospital.
Yeah. But she's all right. Good. So she had an allergic reaction.
Thank God.
This story with this Democrat, I think what Elad is saying is kind of terrifying. They don't have policies. They don't have plans. They have stunts. They're a cult. Who was just saying this a moment ago? That you're arguing with the TV? Was that you, Jack?
So yeah, before we were on air, and I was paraphrasing, but there's this tweet. It's this famous Anon tweet, and JD, I think, reposted it the other day where he was saying liberals don't know things. They don't obsess over statistics or databases. They just sit and watch Netflix and Hollywood movies, and that's their entire conception of the world.
Right.
I went.
That's why they do this, and I fear where that leads to because they have to keep one-upping each other.
Brad Lander didn't do this with any expectations of actually stopping the ICE arrests. Like, he didn't do this with expectations.
Social media clout.
It was all about social media clout. He wanted his photographs to be taken and be put in the New York Times and be the lead story on Timcast.
Do you remember the phrase, do it for the Vine? That's exactly what it is.
Oh, I have the. All right, I want to give.
He's doing it successfully. He's doing it successfully because we're talking about him.
I do want to give attribution. It was mimetic Sisyphus. Hilarious. Liberals don't know things. They don't read history. They don't obsess over stats. The few data points they do see, they forget. Their entire world is driven by the consumption of fiction.
It is indeed.
It's so true.
That's why they kept saying Trump was Voldemort.
Yeah.
Right, because that's their.
That's why they dress up like
point.
handmaidens. They never even read The Handmaid's Tale. They don't even know what they're talking about. They wear those gowns because they saw it on TV, and they don't even know what the story's about.
Do you ever get the sense that they kind of want to be the handmaids, though?
It's a very 50 Shades of Grey.
See what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I would hate to be a handmaid.
Yeah.
That would be awful. Strapping me down.
Like in the Handmaid's
Are you trying to
Tale,
interject that you want to be a handmaid?
No, I was going to say if you guys want to get a better idea, if you guys want to get a better idea of what's going on in these immigration courts, if you could pull up my Twitter, the most recent video I posted is like a Hispanic man being detained by a half dozen guys in masks, grabbing him as his girlfriend is crying behind him. Yeah, go ahead.
That's right here?
Yes.
This tweet?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to read it?
Yeah, so mass immigration and customs enforcement agents detain an illegal immigrant immediately outside of the doors of immigration court in NYC. The illegal alien resists but is overpowered by agents. His girlfriend watches on crying and bangs on the door he's let into.
This is, I like to call, it's cathartic.
Sorry, man.
And if you pause right there, the guy on the left watches Timcast IRL.
This guy right here?
As I understand.
That guy.
Yeah.
This guy in the black.
Let's not dox him, though.
What's up, dude?
Even though he's wearing a mask, let's just...
Yo, what up? He told you, he was like, I seen you on the show?
I don't want to use too many words, but he's familiar with
Did he
our
say,
work.
get off the show, I can't stand you? Or did he say, you know, you're all right?
He said, you know, I appreciate your support, and I'm also a big supporter of Israel.
He said, war in Iran,
wanna
let's
get
go.
I know ICE is already seen very unfavorably by some.
Look at this, look at
Get
this.
him in deeper water.
Wow.
They're allowing her to do this, by the way. This is an illegal immigrant as well that they're choosing not to detain and deport. Does anybody speak Spanish?
Yeah, I saw this clip where this woman's like, if you're okay with families being ripped apart, and it's like, oh my God, you're right. The next time a guy robs a liquor store, put his kids in jail.
I am.
Lock his
But
kids up.
actions have consequences.
And if you want to know why they're wearing masks, if you go to the tweet below this, you'll actually see one of the activists who is a lawyer and an observer there taking photographs of people's faces. And I've spoken to some of the agents who said they're as concerned about being doxxed and having their families threatened. Some choose not to mask up, though, so there isn't consensus.
I am not going to burn the Constitution because some foreign woman is crying and banging on a door. I actually, so this is what I can't stand about liberals. I don't go as far as Carl Benjamin. Carl Benjamin says that people should be made to feel pain for the crimes they commit. My attitude is much more about the logical system of rehabilitation, making a functioning system. Carl has a moralistic view that is, no, when you hurt someone, you are to be made to feel pain. He believes that the purpose of prison should not just be rehabilitative, but punitive. And so I agree a little bit. I am not going to empathize or sympathize with this woman who's crying because she broke our laws, spat in our faces. Dude, if a guy came to my house and broke through my door, broke the back door open, came in and was sitting in my kitchen, and then I threw him out and his girlfriend started crying, I'm not going to go, oh, I feel so bad. I'm going to be like, you too.
Yeah.
You know, that's the root of the word penitentiary.
Yes.
The place that makes you penitent.
Penance.
Oh, I thought it was
Penance.
like, don't drop the soap.
Jesus.
Yeah, never mind.
Like, why do you
Penetration rate.
just keep...
You said it.
Well, you see, the purpose of this video is that liberals are going to go, but she's crying. And I'm going to go, oh, yeah, she is.
They have none
crying.
When Mike said his favorite movie was American History X, I thought he was talking about the race relations.
It was the Nazi part. That's all.
She's crying, so we have to throw the Constitution
You know what we should do?
away.
Exactly.
You know, here's a good man on the street bit. You know, like people go on this man on the street and they ask some question and catch them like, did you know that Trump said this? And then they were like Obama quote and they're like, I hate it.
Yeah,
It was Obama, I got you. What you do is you get a video of like a serial rapist crying and then you say, this is a man whose children were just deported by Donald Trump. Do you think that it is okay this man is crying? Like, actually, that's a serial rapist you're empathizing with.
I love that idea.
And it's like, you can't just look at a crying person and be like, oh, no, but they're crying.
But that's all they have is emotional manipulation. Maybe if my heart grew 3 sizes one day, which it likely won't, I would feel a modicum of sorrow for her. But
I disagree. I got to apologize. I disagree.
I mean,
the idea is that we should tolerate criminals breaking into our country where we have drug dealers, cartels, human trafficking. Good sir, say my heart is 3 times too big. And because of this, I say deport them all.
No, I'm
because
with you.
Encouraging this results in children dying in the Rio Grande, young girls being raped as they trek across by force by their parents as the coyotes abuse them. Shut it all down. It's
By the way,
horrible.
No, I agree with you. You could say how sad a woman is crying, but the person she should be crying towards is herself and her own actions.
And nobody's hurting her boyfriend here. He's being sent home.
Yeah.
I know. It's like
She can go with him or not, right?
Or like, my country sucks so badly, I'm sobbing at the thought of being sent back there while they're waving the country's flag.
It's that meme where the guy's like, Viva Mexico, long live Mexico, make California Mexico again. Then the cop grabs him and he goes, no, don't send me to Mexico. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you guys my one big beef with this. I really have, it's the one big issue that I have here is that I spent, what was it, like from 9 to 5 outside of these immigration courts, and they maybe arrested 7, 8, 9, or 10 people all day with almost a dozen agents that are only front facing. So I'm sure there's more on the back end. I guess my bigger point here is that it's not efficient. If we want mass deportations, this is not the way to get those numbers up. Just as out of a manpower and the process, I was hanging out with these guys in hallways for hours, not doing anything, and they are not going to get to the mass deportation numbers this way. There needs to be other initiatives that are going on, even if they have multiple teams of people doing this. If you're only arresting a dozen people a day and deporting a dozen people a day,
it's got to be the self-deportation. That's got to be the majority of people that leave. And we have to make it as uncomfortable for illegal immigrants to be here as we possibly can. Take away any state benefits, anything at all that comes from the government, take it all away. You can't come here and get health insurance. You can't come here and get schooling. You can't come here and get anything if you're not a citizen, and then make it difficult on the people that would hire them. Make it so that like the whole
and rent.
Pardon me?
And rent.
Yeah, renting, absolutely. The whole Donald Trump, talking about, we're going to allow farm workers and people that work in restaurants, and then walking it back and then doubling down on it. That's a terrible, terrible thing for him to do.
Have you guys... Sorry.
Well, he should be flat out with it. Anyone that hires an illegal is facing fine or losing their property.
Have you guys watched Andor?
Not yet.
How come nobody's watching that? I guess
Only was that the one where they had the where he was basically a sexual assault scene?
Yeah, I heard it got very woke in the second season.
Yeah. So they're on a farm planet.
Was like,
yep.
Yeah.
I
saw this.
Spoilers. There's a farm planet, and the rebels that are working with Cassian Andor, they're hiding out on this planet. And the Empire has come to do audits to look for undocumented workers.
Really?
Yes. And the Imperial colonel or lieutenant or whatever sees the main character's wife, and he's not there, and he's like, so, you work around here? And she's like, yeah. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to go get food later. Maybe you'd like to join me. And she goes, my husband wouldn't like that. And he goes, I don't see him. She's like, he'll be back soon. So then later, he's like, okay, and he walks away. Later, they're like, hey, the auditors are coming to this facility, and you guys don't have are undocumented. You've got to flee. So they get forged documents and then go to some other facility where eventually the Empire pulls up and they see one of the guys lurking, and they're like, they're escaping or whatever. The Imperials, like the commanding officer, goes to them and he goes, I know you're undocumented. Oh, it's so hard. The farmers need the undocumented workers because they want the grains on time.
This is all in the episode?
Yes. And he goes, but we're not supposed to let you stay. Perhaps, it's so stressful. And then
George Soros wrote the, or Alex
Soros wrote the script. Then the woman says something like, that must be very hard on you. And he goes, it is. Maybe there's some way you can help me relax. And then she goes, no. And he goes, come here. And then she goes, I said no. And then she hits him. And then he grabs a knife, and then she pulls a blaster and she shoots him.
No, but there's the line. Wait, I do remember there is one line because I got this.
I'm an accomplished tape watcher.
Someone sent me this clip, or I guess it was going viral, whatever. And he says to her, he goes, we know you're undocumented. We've been counting visas.
Yeah.
It's just like the worst writing possible. We know you're as if that's an actual.
No. I love it. I love it actually. Some people might look at that one scene and go, "It's propaganda." No. You need to understand it's in the full context. The full context is Cassian Andor murdered a couple corporate security guards and has been on the run ever since. So these are quite literal criminal aliens who have murdered tons of cops and soldiers. I kid you not. Cassian Andor stole a component from an Imperial vessel that can track their logistics, literal espionage and spying and stealing government materials, and then tried to sell in the black market. When the Empire came to stop this dangerous criminal, they killed a bunch of them. So when he comes and he says, you're undocumented, sure, they ham it up with him then trying to rape her. That's ridiculous. But the point is, the full context is, this woman isn't just undocumented. She's part of a criminal cartel gang that has been stealing military equipment and selling it on the black market and murdered dozens of soldiers. So it's like, hey, no good guys here, I guess. And I'll add this too.
But they do. I will say that in just on that point, in that scene, it's clearly written that you're supposed to side with, of course. Side, and the other side is clearly evil. They're the Empire, after all.
This is what I can't stand about Star Wars is that it is the whole, even the original movies is communist propaganda. Like,
it was intended as communist propaganda.
It is communist propaganda.
Intended as communist propaganda.
Okay, they succeeded.
No, I don't think they did.
The joke is always that this is like around the time of the prequels, and then of course I can't remember who brought this up, but became a meme. Where I would say to my friends, do you like the original Star Wars? And everyone says, yeah. And I'm like, you like the idea of a young kid in a desert planet getting radicalized by religious extremists and then taking a cargo ship and blowing up a military base?
It was like when ISIS was getting big, this meme kind of like started going around.
And everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, that's what it's about.
And then he gets because of that, his successful attack, he gets brought to a religious education center where he becomes even further radicalized and sent off to assassinate government leaders.
Indeed. Darth Vader was a disabled war veteran.
He was.
So was the Emperor.
Yeah.
The Emperor didn't serve, did he?
He was a disabled politician.
He was disfigured in an assassination
terrorist
attempt.
attack. Yeah, an assassination attempt. Yeah.
So I actually think, obviously, so what they've done since is they've written Star Wars to explain why the Empire was bad because they never did in the past. Like in the original movies, it was just the Empire is bad, but you don't really know why. So now they're trying to write all of these things where it's like, here's why they're bad. One of those is the police.
They're bad because they just kill people wantonly.
But that's not really in. It's just like there's the Empire, but that's what they're doing.
They blow up an entire planet.
Okay, sure, fair. They blow up Alderaan.
Yes.
But the point is, they're writing things like the Imperial office.
A lot would consider Alderaan a rogue planet.
What they're writing now.
Star Wars.
A rogue planet.
I've never seen it.
They had to be destroyed.
So what they're writing now is that when you're tracking undocumented workers, the Imperial, the white men, are trying to rape the brown women who are harvesting grain or working as mechanics. They're trying to make it be like when the U.S. government tries to enforce its laws, it is the evil empire. That is the propaganda that Hollywood produces.
Yep.
I think what you said is very true, that they get everything they know from fiction, from TV, from media. I went to the No Kings protest the other day, which just the idea of that is insane. Like, they didn't care too much about the idea of kings.
That's a fiction as well.
Yeah, when the government was putting people out of business and locking us under house arrest. But the funny thing is, when you look at, first of all, I know everything they hate. They hate Trump. They hate borders. What are they for? You see one person who's draped in a trans flag standing next to a person with an Obama shirt holding a sign that says no deportations.
So what you're saying is no kings, but there were a lot of queens.
Yes, precisely.
God.
And I was funny. Libby told us the other day that in Canada it was called the No Tyrants protest.
Oh yeah, they can't have no
so
kings there.
Post Millennial had someone up there, I think it was Toronto, covering the protests, but they had to call it No Tyrants because Canada literally has a king.
And they support kings.
Yes.
Just proving it's all a bunch of hypocritical nonsense.
I hate Canada.
The contradictions just here.
Is Canada a rogue country?
I think we should take over Canada. I think
almost.
we should liberate Canada. If you want me to actually support war,
Did you put a hard R on Canada?
Canada? They kind of do.
You are ethnic John Bolton.
Well.
I am willing to liberate the Canadians, and I think they would be an issue in the future.
We'll be greeted as liberators.
Yep.
I don't think we should liberate them.
I think we should encourage
Blow up
Quebec
that
to break
planet.
apart, as I understand of their politics.
Did you hear how they
Build another wall, man.
You guys
Build a
know
wall.
how they actually got the name for Canada, right? Like the actual story is a cover. It's a conspiracy theory. The true story is that there was somebody up in Canada walking around in the snow, well, the territory that's now Canada, and he saw the letters C, N, and D written in the snow, and he looked down at it and he said, C-A, N-A, D-A.
God, that's
What is the actual name?
Canada?
Kanukistan.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Yes, it was briefly aligned with Kekistan before the war.
That's right.
But then after the occupation, Kekistan was no longer able to maintain the freedom, and so of course
Canada has
as we stand for
indigenous
free
roots and
Kekistan.
originally comes from the Huron Iroquois word Kanata,
Yeah, that's all
meaning
conspiracy
village or
theory.
settlement.
It's not true.
1535 explorer Jacques Cartier was told about the route to Canada by two Aboriginal youths who were referring to the village of Stadacona,
Yeah, nobody buys this.
presently city of Quebec.
Nobody buys it.
So
Total cover story. Go
There
with
you
the letters
go.
in the ground.
I think I like Jack's version better, but that's what the internet told me when I Googled it.
Yeah, the internet. Well, I mean, I saw it on Twitter, so it must be true.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.